Start off with NFL free agency. We could talk about the walk-off for the Pirates. We could talk NCAA basketball. But Ray Fittipaldi, writing in the Post-Gazette today, Ralph Cindrich just a little while ago, over the phone on KDK TV2, talking about painkillers, National Football League, Steelers.
Well, Steelers prominently mentioned in this story, and what it is a bunch of former players who were suing all the NFL teams, not just the Steelers, but the Steelers were prominently mentioned in the fact that they gave more than average in painkillers, that guys would line up for shots with some of the players, including Jeff Graham, who said, remember him, the former receiver.
Right.
So there was one where he was pressured into playing when he wasn't healthy. They would just give him shots and just get out there and play because it was a playoff game, that they never told them the risks or the consequences, and that's the big issue these guys have. It's like they thought you were taking a pill, but you didn't know that this might hurt down the line and that they were never told what would happen to them.
I mean, a lot of players, very prominent players involved, such as Jim McMahon, Richard Dent, a couple of legends for the Chicago Bears. Mike Logan, who, of course, Pittsburgh native, played for the Steelers, also in the article, talking about a number of things. And Ralph Cindrich, who actually was the agent of James Ferrier and others, just discussing Doc Bradley, who they said that nothing but good things about him have always been said. And it really came down to personal decision. We're talking about Toradol, which is a non-steroidal inflammatory, anti-inflammatory. So it is what it is, but Jeff, this is my thoughts. It's the life that we've chosen, and it kind of comes with the territory. And as we have evolved in medicine, more is being learned, and it will play out in the court system. But once again, it just seems as though the NFL finds themselves, in my opinion, being ganged up on.
Well, I think that there's a line in the NFL where you want to be a tough guy, right?
Right.
You want to get out there and you want to play when you're hurt. So you're willing to do anything to get out there and be with your team. But I also think there is the NFL teams owe the players something. And what I mean by that is they had to have known that there would be some consequences. And if they're not telling these guys, like, hey, just so you know, or that there's not a sheet or a list or a meeting and say, hey, these are some of the side effects of this, and then it's up to you. Most of the guys would still take it. It's like steroids. Most of these guys, if it meant the edge of them playing in the NFL and not, they would take it and then deal with the consequences. I think it's both, but I think the teams just can't say, well, hey,
I know.
They took it because they were giving it up.
Absolutely. Okay, here we go. It's NFL feeding frenzy as in free agency. Julius Peppers is going back to Carolina.
Yeah, and Pitt's Jabal Sheard, 3 years, $25.5 million with Indy, which is a huge contract for Sheard. He kind of reinvented his career with New England. Also locally, Terrell Pryor gets $6 million guaranteed with Washington, and then another $2 million in incentives, and of course the big one with the Steelers, Lawrence Timmons, going down to Miami. He gets $11 million guaranteed. He's 30. He's a middle linebacker, and 2 years, $30 million guaranteed. I think the Steelers made the right choice. Time will tell. Even though he's their leading tackler, man, that would have been too much for them to give up.
Is Tony Romo still a member of the Cowboys?
No.
What happened?
No, I think they'll. Nothing officially. It won't be. I think they'll trade him, and Houston kind of cleared the spot. And Denver's still in play here, so we'll see what plays out.
And, Brock Osweiler went to Cleveland. Cleveland released RG3 today.
Right. So
it's kind of a sad story.
They're still trying to get rid of Osweiler. The Browns are, from what reports we've seen. So basically they spent all that money for a second-round pick. But I don't know. All of that links to Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Patriots say that you don't know what is posturing right now. Do teams really not want to get somebody, or are they just trying to drive up a market?
And, just to give you an idea how tough this game is, Jordan Cameron, tight end with the Browns and Dolphins, came out of USC, 28 years of age, calling it quits today because of all the concussion issues.
Yeah, and what's different between now and, say, 30 years ago is they can afford to do it. They've made their money, and if they haven't blown it on something stupid, they're good for life, so these guys can make those decisions. It's a lot easier to make those decisions now.
Back to the painkiller story, we're going to have a chance to really get caught up on both sides with an NFL agent and a very good attorney, Greg Diolis, on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show this week. Bruce Tanner will join starting March 26th at 11:30 on the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh Newsline to talk Pirate baseball. And Lee Cohn Park today, walk-off homer, Bucks win.
Edwin Espinal is a Double-A star. It's a walk-off homer. It's pretty exciting. Here's a kid on TV. Gets a chance to do that here on the Fan. He's able to get that home run call. And I'm sure the fans are kind of glad the game ended because it 1-1. It was looking like it was heading to extra innings, but good for him. Drew Hutchison, who's fighting to get in the rotation, 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only 1 run, so he looked good.
By the way, this weekend, a lot of great exhibition baseball, and they'll be taking on the Orioles tomorrow. Not on the radio at 105, but it will be on the Major League Baseball Network, MLB.com, if you want to find out more about that. And April 7th, even though they're going to open in Boston, they'll be in Pittsburgh at PNC Park against Atlanta, so you may want to purchase some tickets for that. Now, when you look at all of these basketball games that have been taking place today, quickly, any games jump out at you?
Michigan had a nice win, overtime win. Minnesota upset Michigan State, so Rick Pitino's kid is still alive, but the big upset was here in town, was Davidson beating Dayton. Archie Miller returns to Pittsburgh. This was going to be a run to a championship for him in the tournament. They won the regular season, and they lose in the first round, at least his first game of the tournament. So a lot of the teams that fans were into, Dayton, St. Bonaventure, and all the Pennsylvania teams all gone. So it's going to be tough probably from a crowd standpoint because they probably lost a lot of fans.
All right, Duke, North Carolina coming up tonight. Jamie Dixon continues to roll with TCU and Iowa State. Speaking of Archie, his brother Sean in a big Pac-12 semifinal game tonight as Steve Alford's UCLA Bruins. He's really reignited that program, taking on Arizona. That's going to be a good basketball game.
It should be an up-tempo game, a game that even the average fans would like. And remember, West Virginia, Kansas State tonight. West Virginia's a chance for a first-ever Big 12 championship. They would just have to get through Kansas State, who they've beaten, and then the winner of TCU and Oklahoma State.
Penns, Edmonton tonight.
Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, right? And Evgeny Malkin. McDavid leads the league in scoring, 4 better than Malkin and Crosby. It's 2 teams that like to play the same. So that should make, again, I talk about average fan. This will be a great average fan game because it's going to be up and down the ice. It'll be different than what it was in Winnipeg. Winnipeg was hitting, there was some fighting. This should be just fast, moving back and forth. Should be a pretty quick game time-wise because those teams are just flying. Hopefully there's not a lot of face-offs so they can keep that pace going.
Adam Hadwin is your leader at 10 under after his second round of the Valspar Championship. Only he cares about this as much as I do. Palm Harbor, Florida. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and to be honest, I haven't even paid that much attention to it, other than Charles Schwartzel. Did you hear what happened to him Wednesday? He was playing in a Pro-Am. One of the amateurs hit a tree and then ricocheted off his wrist. It was like Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, my arm.
I get no respect.
But I guess he ended up playing in the tournament. But with everything else going on, I just haven't paid as much attention.
Last thing, Jeff Hathman, sports director, 93.7 The Fan News, Radio 1020 KDK. He's a world traveler. He and his lovely daughter. He was in Alaska. Last night, AAA Central, I was at their office in Rochester doing a bunch of stuff video-wise. And we got talking about top Irish golfers, Padraig Harrington, Graham McDowell, and yes, Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy, if he wins the Masters next month, he creates the, the illusion that he is the greatest player in the world. Not an illusion anymore because he will have gotten the career Grand Slam. Pretty special.
Yeah, it would be pretty special for him. And he's been on the doorstep. But, Jason Day, Dustin Johnson's playing great golf. We saw that at Oakmont. There's so many different guys that can factor into this right now. Ricky Fowler is coming off a win. So it should be fun. It's the new guard. And then you still have Mickelson there. You still have Furyk there. Tiger probably won't play in it, that's my guess. Or if he does, it'll be like watching Gary Player. He'll shoot 78, 80, and then be done.
Let me also, yesterday in the Fan Morning Show, Coach Kevin Stallings dropped by, and he was really, I think, forward as far as his thought process, what he hoped for, what his plans, what his dreams were for this year. But I tell you, he spoke like a man from the heart, what he plans to do moving forward. And even though they didn't get into the tournament, I think it was a good first year for him in a growing process. Michael Young obviously got busted up. Artis had the bad ankle. And I think he's going to be okay moving forward. Any of these guys coming in excite you at all for next year?
We've got 7 guys coming in next year. 7 new players coming in that all play his style. They've got this kid, this transfer, who went to University Prep. He's from Florida, and his name is escaping me right now, but he led JUCO and all JUCO in scoring. He shoots 42% from 3. Sounds just like the type of guy that he can use. The only problem is he's only about 6'1", 6'2". So and I think there'll be another guy or two. I think they're going to make sweeping changes, and we'll see. And they only have to beat 4 wins in the ACC to be better than this past year. And for everybody who thinks it'll be a total disaster, I don't know. I want to see Stallings with his players. If he gets his guys in here, what happens? I think there's a chance that it could be better than what we saw this year. Of course, that's not a high bar.
Kali Kaczynski shooting this on the AT&T Samsung phone. You think I could get something for this on eBay? I kind of like it. Maybe I'll buy it.
My Ohio State one over it.
Oh,
that'd be wrong.
There you go. All right, roll, Tide, roll. Have a great rest of your day and a better weekend. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. on News Radio 1020 KDK. Thank you, Jeff Hathorn.